There are moments in the history of this planet when a single mistake is enough to end a life. 201 million years ago, a new world began rising from the ashes of the end Triassic mass extinction, an event that wiped out nearly half of all species on Earth. But every disaster hides an opportunity. The empty ecological niches left behind became an open door for a new group of animals to rise, the dinosaurs. The supercontinent Pangaea was still one enormous landmass, but the first cracks were beginning to show, cracks that would eventually reshape the map of the planet over tens of millions of years. The climate grew wetter. Vast forests of ferns, cycads, and conifers spread across the land, feeding enormous herbivores, and in turn, feeding the appetite of predators that grew larger to bring them down. This is the Jurassic, 56 million years in which life on land and beneath the sea was ruled by some of the most perfect killing machines ever to exist. This was also the age of the largest plant-eating dinosaurs ever to walk the earth, and naturally, the predators strong enough to take them down. Out of the thousands of creatures that walked through this era, only 5 names truly earned the title of nightmare, predators so dangerous that even other giants learned to avoid them. We are ranking them not by size, but by a single measure, how completely unchallenged they were in their own world, on land and in the sea alike. But before we reach the main countdown, 3 other names deserve a mention, creatures that almost made the list, each with a story of its own. First, a predator whose reputation has been badly distorted by film. 2 thin, bony crests stood on top of its head like a double crown, and it was one of the earliest hunters of the Jurassic. Many people picture it with a wide frilled collar and the ability to spit venom, but that is pure fiction from the movies. There is no fossil evidence that this animal had a frill or venom of any kind. The real creature was frightening enough without the extra flair, roughly 7 meters long, with slender but sharp teeth built to take down mid-sized prey in the early Jurassic forests. Its name was Dilophosaurus. Next, a marine reptile whose size was wildly exaggerated for years. Documentaries from the early 2000s described it as 25 meters long, one of the most terrifying animals ever known. Later research showed its real length was far more modest, somewhere around 6 to 7 meters. Still, it was a serious predator in the mid-Jurassic seas, with a powerful jaw and a keen sense of smell for tracking prey from a distance. This was Liopleurodon. And finally, a name that could not be more different in size. One of the smallest meat-eating dinosaurs ever discovered, barely bigger than a chicken. But do not let its size fool you. Quick, alert, and possibly a pack hunter, this little predator proved that in the Jurassic, the most dangerous animal was not always the biggest one. Its name was Compsognathus. These 3 earned their place in the story, but none of them come close to the true terror waiting on our main list. The countdown begins now, starting with number 5. In a dense patch of ferns beside a quiet swamp, something is moving. Unhurried, it does not need to hurry. A small horn rises just above its snout, not for decoration, but as the mark of a predator ready for a fight. A row of small bony scutes runs down its spine from neck to tail, crude armor, a reminder that even a hunter needs to know how to defend itself. Number 5. This is Ceratosaurus nasicornis, a bipedal theropod dinosaur, part of the ancient reptile lineage. It has no living descendants today. Its first nearly complete skeleton was unearthed in the state of Colorado in the late 19th century, one of the discoveries that helped scientists understand the predator world of the Jurassic more clearly. About 6 meters long, with thin, curved teeth shaped like carving blades, built for slicing rather than crushing. Unlike most meat-eating dinosaurs of its time, which had only 3 fingers, Ceratosaurus carried 4 on each hand, a rare trait that let it grip struggling prey more effectively. Its preferred targets were small to mid-sized plant-eating dinosaurs that shared its world, and it likely had no problem scavenging the carcasses of larger animals when the opportunity arose. Picture a sweltering afternoon beside the swamp. A young herbivore strays from the herd to drink. It has no idea that in the ferns behind it, a pair of eyes has been watching for some time. No warning sound, just a fast, decisive lunge. As for speed, Ceratosaurus was no sprinter. Its relatively short hind legs suggest a predator built for power and ambush in dense cover rather than long chases. If you were a small herbivore wandering alone near the water's edge, this is the last thing you would want to meet in the shadows of the undergrowth. But there is one truth Ceratosaurus could not escape. It was not the strongest creature in this forest. It had to share its territory with larger, more brutal predators, and one of them was hiding just beneath the surface of the water ahead, in what looked like perfect stillness. Number 4. Along a quiet stretch of coastal water, a log appears to be floating motionless on the surface. At least that is what you think. This is Machimosaurus rex, an ancient crocodile relative, distant kin to the crocodiles alive today. Its fossils were found in North Africa, in a region that was once the shoreline of a shallow prehistoric sea. Nearly 10 meters long, it stands as one of the largest crocodilians to ever exist, dwarfing any living crocodile species today. Its body was covered in thick bony armor plates running down its back, protecting it from attacks while also helping it sit lower in the water for better camouflage. Its jaws were long and narrow, packed with cone-shaped teeth built not to cut, but to pin down slippery prey like large fish or sea turtles so they could not twist free. Its prey consisted of large fish, sea turtles, and anything thirsty enough to lower its head to the water's edge. On land, it was nearly helpless, heavy and slow. But in the water, it told a completely different story, a burst of speed so sudden that no prey had time to react. You would never see it coming, just a splash and then silence. If this much horror could hide beneath such calm water, imagine what ruled the land above it, a predator so dominant that even Ceratosaurus knew to stay away. Number 3. The sound of splintering wood echoes through the forest, not from the wind. A massive shape is moving between the trees, heavy and powerful, leaving deep prints in the damp earth with every step. Number 3. This is Torvosaurus tanneri, a large meat-eating dinosaur of the Jurassic. Its fossils were discovered in Colorado, the same region that produced several other giant predators of this period, suggesting this was fiercely contested hunting ground. Bulkier and more heavily built than its more famous contemporaries, with a thick, short jaw of tremendous strength, and a body designed to absorb powerful impacts rather than move with agility. Its weapons were curved, razor-sharp teeth nearly as long as an adult human hand, strong enough to punch through bone. Its short forelimbs carried broad, sickle-shaped claws capable of tearing flesh in an instant. Behind it, a long, heavy tail served not only for balance, but could knock down anything in its path. Its prey included large plant-eating dinosaurs, even young or injured long-necked giants. In the same ecosystem, Torvosaurus and Allosaurus may have divided the hunting grounds in their own way, one relying on speed to chase down agile prey, the other relying on raw power to bring down larger, slower targets. Picture a morning in the ancient forest. A young long-necked dinosaur falls behind the herd to graze on low leaves. No sound gives warning, only the ground trembling faintly beneath heavy approaching footsteps. Torvosaurus does not need to be fast, it only needs to be close enough. As for speed, Torvosaurus was no chaser. Its sturdy legs were built to carry power, not agility. It did not need to run. One bite was enough. It never needed careful stalking. Raw strength alone meant no prey ever got a second chance to escape. But even Torvosaurus, with all its power, had to yield the throne of the Jurassic land to a name even more famous and feared. Number 2. A roar echoes across the dry plains, and every plant eater within earshot freezes. Number 2. This is Allosaurus fragilis, the most iconic predator of the Jurassic. It is also one of the meat-eating dinosaurs with the most fossils ever discovered, hundreds of skeletons unearthed, especially at one fossil quarry in the state of Utah, a site more densely packed with its remains than anywhere else known to science. Two small bony ridges rise above its eyes, like a permanent scowl frozen in place. Its jaw could open unusually wide and flex slightly at certain joints, letting it bite off far more than its head size would suggest, while still holding down violently struggling prey. Its main weapons were dozens of curved, serrated teeth like steak knives, constantly breaking and regrowing throughout its life to stay battle-ready. 3 fingers on each forelimb, one fewer than Ceratosaurus but no less dangerous, carried long, sharply curved claws used to hook and pin prey while its jaws delivered the finishing blow. Its prey included nearly every large plant-eating dinosaur in its range, from young long-necked giants to the spike-covered Stegosaurus. Fossil evidence shows one Allosaurus was once struck through the spine by a Stegosaurus tail spike, the price of challenging prey that knew how to fight back. Picture a fully grown Stegosaurus grazing peacefully on a quiet afternoon, its spiked tail swaying gently with every slow step. In the distance, a shape approaches, unhurried but relentless. The confrontation ahead will not be easy for either side, and the predator does not always win. As for speed, this was Allosaurus's greatest advantage. A lightweight, hollow-boned frame and long hind legs made it far more agile than heavier predators like Torvosaurus. Rather than simply biting and crushing like many other hunters, biomechanical studies suggest Allosaurus may have used its whole head like a hatchet, driving its jaws down and pulling back to tear away large chunks of flesh, a devastatingly effective tactic against prey many times its size. That combination of speed, sharp weaponry, and a smart hunting strategy made Allosaurus the most widespread and successful predator across the plains and forests of the Jurassic. Allosaurus had almost no rival on Jurassic land. But the question still hangs in the air: who was truly the ruler of this entire age? The answer is not found on land. Number 1. Beneath the deep, dark waters of the Jurassic Sea, light barely reaches at all. This is a place no land predator ever dared enter, and it is exactly where the true nightmare of this entire era lies waiting. In that darkness there is no warning roar, no shadow sliding past to give you time to react, only silence and then it is over. Scientists once gave it an unofficial but haunting nickname, Predator X. Today, it is known by its scientific name, Pliosaurus funkei. Its fossils lay buried beneath the rock of the Svalbard Islands in Norway for over 140 million years, until they were excavated and announced to the world in 2009, sending shockwaves through the paleontology community. It has no living descendants today. Its skull alone makes up nearly a quarter of its total body length, an almost unbelievable proportion for any predator of its time. Its body is a long, streamlined torpedo shape, driven forward by 4 limbs that evolved entirely into broad swimming flippers. This is a rare trait. Most swimming animals rely mainly on one pair of limbs for propulsion, but Pliosaurus could beat all 4 almost simultaneously, producing powerful bursts of speed and sudden changes of direction underwater. Its weapons are rows of cone-shaped teeth, as thick as a human wrist at the base, with ridges running along the surface to reduce drag as they tear through flesh and bone. Its skull structure is built to deliver one of the most powerful bite forces ever recorded in a vertebrate animal. This is not a patient stalker. It is a single, decisive strike, with no second chance for its prey. Its prey is never small. It hunts other large marine reptiles, including predators nearly as fearsome as itself in the Jurassic Ocean. As for speed, Pliosaurus does not need to be the fastest swimmer in the sea. 4 powerful flippers give it the ability to accelerate violently over a short distance, enough to close the gap before its prey even registers the danger beside it. An ichthyosaur glides near the surface to breathe. Calm, not a single unusual ripple. Then, from a depth no one can see, a massive shadow surges upward. No warning sign at all. In an instant, the water erupts and it is over. On land, Allosaurus had almost no rival. Torvosaurus could crush bone with a single bite. But both of them share one thing in common: their prey, at least, had a chance to see them coming. In the Jurassic Ocean, the prey of Pliosaurus never had that chance. That is why, across both land and sea, throughout the 56 million years of the Jurassic, no creature earned a higher place than this one. 5 names have been called: Ceratosaurus, the silent ambusher in the undergrowth; Machimosaurus, the motionless trap beneath the coastal water; Torvosaurus, a machine of raw crushing power; Allosaurus, the nearly unbeatable icon of the land; and Pliosaurus, the absolute ruler of the deep sea. But the question this video opened with still remains: who was truly the master of the entire Jurassic? The answer, it turns out, does not belong to a single name. On land, Allosaurus had almost no equal, but the ocean was an entirely different world, one where Pliosaurus alone made the rules. The Jurassic never had one king. It had 2 separate kingdoms, each with its own undisputed ruler. Across 56 million years, these predators shaped the way life evolved around them. Prey grew larger to survive. Predators grew stronger to keep up. An endless arms race, unfolding quietly across tens of millions of years. And while these giants ruled the land and the ocean, something far smaller was quietly happening. On low branches, some small dinosaurs began growing the first primitive feathers, not for flight, but perhaps simply for warmth or display. None of the massive predators of this age could have guessed that tens of millions of years later, the descendants of these tiny creatures would become the only dinosaur lineage still alive today, in the form of birds. The Jurassic did not end in disaster. No asteroid, no massive volcanic eruption. It simply transitioned gradually as the continents kept drifting apart and the climate slowly shifted, opening a new chapter in the history of the Earth, the Cretaceous, the age of Tyrannosaurus, Spinosaurus, and predators even more terrifying than anything we have just witnessed. Who will rise this time? See you in the next video.